aspiring technicians, when we hire them in, we advertise, like on Indeed or, whatever, not for a lube tech, somebody that has the aspirations, and to change the quality of the candidate.
I've been focused for the last 3 years on bringing attention to mental health and technicians. So everything that I've done for the last 3 years, podcast, media, content, whatever, has been focused on doing that. Leadership, empathy, compassion, promotion, understanding how to curate working environments for technicians in a way that A, wants them to get them back into the shop, B, keeps them in the shop, and C, keeps the senior technicians teaching at a high level so that we can create people like Ed who are high value leaders. So to that point, I'm trying to talk to people like Ed and yourself who have been in the game a long time, understanding how you lead, how you promote, how you make technicians feel like they want to stay, and how to help them make money. Right. So the tagline is, help them be happier, healthier, more productive.
And he grows guys from the beginning too. That's why I said if he could have.
Yep.
So tell me a little bit more about that. How are you growing technicians in the store?
Well, Ed paved the way. And I really had to take a look at how we were doing things. And I'm actually speaking at 3 o'clock about this, about different hiring practices. And so one thing that we changed was we quit hiring lube techs or express techs, and we started hiring entry-level technicians.
Aspiring techs.
Aspiring technicians. And so we went to market, we changed, and we, just like, Ed put the blueprint together. It says, we're going to hire a guy or girl, gal, whatever, and put them, when we hire them in, we advertise, like on Indeed or, whatever, not for a lube tech, not for, the express guy or something, but somebody that has the aspirations, and to change the quality of the candidate.
Why do you, okay, so this is an interesting, this is like, this morning you heard Claude Silver say, and I've used it a couple of times because it's so impactful for me, changing soft skills to power skills. So it's changing a word, not changing the thing that you're ultimately doing, because at the end of the day, it's those same skills. All we're doing is giving it a different title and a more impactful title to make people understand how important that is.
Yep.
How did changing the title effectively, how did changing the title change so much about that part of the business?
Well, we've hired people to be lube techs, and really what we're saying is, I need you to be a grunt worker for me.
Yep.
Well, if we shift that from, I don't need grunt workers. I need people that want to make this a career, that are true car guys that want to give back. And then I need to support them in getting there. And when you offer that support to get there, that's when they say, they're here for me, rather than being the grunt of doing all the bottom end stuff. So it's showing them that they have an opportunity in front of them rather than just the grunt work.
Interesting.
Yep.
So by changing the name and changing the process, you've allowed somebody to understand that, yes, you're hiring at minimum wage to start, but I'm not here to hire you as someone who's going to stay there, who is just going to do the stuff that nobody else really wants to do. I want you to grow in this position. I want you to be everything you can be in this position, grow as a technician, grow as part of the business.
So let's take that for just a moment there, because you talked about hiring them at minimum wage, and a lot of dealers do that. They try to hire, say you're an entry-level spot, this is what I'm gonna pay you. But we also need them to go out and buy tools and do all those other things where they can work at minimum wage at McDonald's and not have to buy anything. So we got to give them a living wage. We have to say, okay, what should that position hold, and what's the next level up from it? So it shouldn't be a baseline, and then if they make it, then we see where their value is. Let's give them a baseline and say, when you get to this point, this is where it's at, and when you get to this point, this is where it's at, and you can keep going forever.
Yep.
Now, to that point, do both of you have the same mindset that you have that staggered approach where you go here and here and here? Do you apply things other than training to that? Like, do you have some kind of personal development that's attached to that, as well as the professional development side?
We do.
Yeah.
So for our store, it's Bozard University. We have all kinds of development programs inside of Bozard University. So yes, I have job skill training. but then also have personal development, leadership skills, B-top training, all the different elements that makes the person a better person. And when the person becomes a better person, it just enhances the elements of the skills. Mm-hmm. And they truly are, like Claude said, power skills. Mm-hmm. It's the power of the person at that point, rather than, okay, well, this is what I need. And we all look for that skilled technician to show up and be the next home run, but someone had to make them a skilled technician.
Yep.
Someone had to make them that home run. But the reality is, the home run guys aren't looking.
No, they're staying where they're at.
Someone invested in them, and they stay where that investment was.
One of the things that we have found is stability. Consistency and stability is a natural way to improve the mental health, the overall health of that person. And two things: when we were hiring Lube techs, express techs, and advertising for them, there are individuals out there that will deliver pizza, work at McDonald's, and then every once in a while they'll switch back and change oil for a while until they, and so you weren't getting career-minded people. When we started hiring entry-level technicians or aspiring technicians, we were getting guys and gals that are coming out of trade school, or had been at another dealership that were just dead-ended as an express tech. So we definitely improved our candidates. And then the thing that we found was the young guys and gals that are out there, a lot of times never had expectations, never had a clear path laid out in front of them.
And to be held accountable for it.
And accountability and consistent pay, and not entry level, not minimum wage pay. And so when you put them in that system and give them that consistency, steady pay, steady work, a career path, it inevitably changes that person, and it provides the stability and that path forward that many times they didn't have outside of work. It's a lot of times the first time that they've been put in that situation.
So I'm gonna pull up my phone for a second.
Sure.
Because I asked the gent. So I've had 35, 40 technicians on my show in the last 3 years. I've got about 30 of them in a group chat.
Good.
Yesterday, I asked them, if you were me and you were here and the opportunity to talk to GMs, dealer principals, or fixed ops director, what question would you ask? Now, there's a couple that I won't. There's a couple that I won't share.
No, please. I mean,
there's a couple that I won't share, but there are a couple that I absolutely.
What he's saying is some emotion bled into the question that they presented.
Yes.
Yeah.
What is your pathway? So, context. This is Mike Baldwin. What does your pathway look like for fixed ops employees to progress through your dealer model? Do you have a mentorship program for those wanting to grow beyond the service department and into mid and eventually end up at high level leadership?
Yeah. I mean, you can grab that one and start off anyway.
So yes, a lot of times we feel like, and I got to, it's going to go back to what Claude said earlier. She used the word thumbs pointed back at you. Well, really, we got to look in the mirror. And if you're asking the question, the person that can stand in the mirror can answer the question. So what I mean by that is we have to put the effort in as humans to get better and position ourselves, because we have to be the next no-brainer for that next role. We have to prepare ourselves for that position. And so, for instance, at my store, I offer leadership classes. I run them twice a week. It is totally voluntary, but it teaches you how to communicate with people, how to connect with people, how to set expectations with people, all the things that we need to do as leaders. And what that really is to show me who's going to put in the effort to prepare themselves for that next role. But when they do that, the ones that do show themselves as putting in the effort to prepare themselves for that next role, also the student becomes the teacher. where as they spend so much time in there, then they have to hold the class once a month. And they have to get back.
Oh, I like it.
So now I'm preparing them for that role because now they're getting challenged a bit.
Mm-hmm.
But most will say they want to do it, but unfortunately won't put in the effort, which is okay because if you have the skill, that skill can pay you forever.
Exactly.
But ultimately, it takes effort to go learn another skill because any leadership role is a different skill.
Yep.
Correct.
And so it's a new set of training and learning that we have to continuously do, and you got to put in the effort for that. So I got to ask the same question is, what are you doing to prepare yourself to be the next no-brainer for that role when it becomes available?
I like it because that is the two-way street part of leadership. You have to find someone who's willing to teach you, but you also have to be willing to listen, and you have to be willing to give back.
And I want to touch on that a little bit more. I do offer the classes. I know you got something too.
No.
I do offer twice a week at my store, and a lot of stores do not. That doesn't mean that it's not available to you. There's so much out there, whether it's books, whether it's podcasts or whatever. What are you doing to better yourself and prepare yourself for that next role?
100%. I know that NCM offers a whole bunch of leadership training. I'm pretty sure that NCM is hosting they've done a sales one, I think this summer, sometime they're going to do one. But I think there's a fixed ops NCM, I think it's called NCM and Friends, that's happening in the fall, I think. I would love to go to that if I can get the opportunity to go. But many of my peers, anybody that's in a shop foreman or senior technician role needs to be getting into those kinds of leadership classes or leadership courses if they don't have somebody like you at the shop who is actively teaching leadership.
It starts with being intentional about where you work and who you're working with and who you're working for. This guy right here is not unconfident, not job scared. He's a leader. And if you are under the tutelage of somebody that doesn't want to train people because they're job scared, if you're working for that guy, your career path is not there, because those people are going to surround themselves with people who don't challenge them. And so the best thing that I can do for the store is have 13 people that want my job and are training, because quite frankly, it frees me up to be able to do higher level stuff. And the misconception is that if I'm hiring people that are as skilled, maybe, in some areas more skilled than me, that somehow that threatens my job. But it makes you...
It enhances your job, yes.
It makes you the next no-brainer for the next thing up.
So I like this mindset that you have 13 people who want your job.
Yeah.
Right. And this is something that some of you folks have not been listening to, and you need to take heed on this. Leadership is about delegating yourself out of a job.
Amen, brother.
It's about growing your replacement constantly.
Yep.
And if as a leader you are afraid to delegate yourself out of a job, you are not a leader.
If I can't come out and do these things and have fear that my store isn't going to run well while I'm gone, then I haven't done my job. I have the confidence my store is going to run better without me there, because they know that I have the confidence in them for them to make the right decisions.
100%. Awesome.
That's where you want to work.
That's exactly where you want. To that point, it's a great way for me to get my ending question that I always ask. You've already answered it once, so I'm going to ask you, Richard.
Sure.
I ask every guest at the end of the show, what's your one piece of advice for a technician to live happier, healthier, or more productive tomorrow?
Do not let your work be your life. Do not. It's so easy in many industries to become only a technician or only a service manager. And I know that I have a large family that takes up a ton of time. I know that you've got family and you've got things that you do outside of work, and it's tough to establish, but your life is not defined by your job. If that's the case, you have a bad day at work, you have a bad day in life. And if you have a good day at work, you have a good day in life. And if you take and separate the two, you're going to live a happier life, more consistent, be more in tune with the things around you, and you will end up being more productive because your focus and your outlook will be at a higher level, and you'll be able to go in and get cheese from the cheese station every day.
Nice. Nice. I know personally, the day after I've gotten to ride my motorcycle is always a more productive day.
It's a much better day.
Always more productive day. The day that I don't get to ride my motorcycle is a very difficult day indeed.
We all need a release, and
100%.
and we have to make time for that form of release.
100%. Well, gentlemen, thank you
Josh,
very
pleasure.
much.
Yeah.
Pleasure. Always a pleasure, sir.
Absolutely.
How's the book going? You said to me last year in Vegas that you have something that you have not yet published. When is that coming?
I don't have a timeline on it,
Breaking news.
but it will be it was going to be the next mile, but instead of it being the next mile, it's going to be a revision to mile 1. And it'll have 31 chapters. And
mile 2.
the purpose behind it is for you to read the chapter of the day of the month that it is. So on the 3rd, read the 3rd chapter and apply it.
Nice.
On the 10th, read the 10th chapter and go apply it.
Very nice.
That is the plan for the revision.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Plan, isn't it?
You heard it first. Thank you, sir.
Josh, thanks for what you do.
I appreciate you. I thank you for giving me some of your time. I know how strapped for time you both are. So thank you very much.
He's way
And,
busier than me.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. So on that note, enjoy the rest of the show.
Josh.
Thank you again. Thank you again.
Yep.
Appreciate you very much.
Thanks.
Enjoy.